train coming away. Then it comes to be the soothing light at the end of your tunnel. It was just a freight train coming away.
Alright guys, here is one more little update. All I did was stick it in there, kind of wiggle it around, got it as far back as I could, running into a couple clearance issues. That pinch weld right there is hitting that fuel pressure, or fuel pump, pressure regulator, pump, I don't know. It's hitting that, and also I can tell on the bottom side, right back here, maybe we can get a shot. Right back here, it's actually hitting the transmission bell housing on the top. So, still making progress. This was literally an hour of my time. So you guys have been with me this entire build. So I'm gonna work on getting this stuff clearanced so that we can fit. But if you look on this side, our motor mount point is right here, and where it needs to bolt up is right there. So it's just a matter of making some brackets. No big deal. Time and effort. And look, this is the heater core hose that came off the block. Okay, and that's the heater core. It's almost like it was made to go in this car. Pretty cool. So a little bit of fit and finish stuff. It'll be rolling soon. All right, we're ready for another little update. I'm gonna go ahead and just take a quick video on what I was able to do as far as getting the motor in. So I got the cross member in. The cross member works out great. So I'll get you guys that part number here shortly. I did want to show you guys, there's the motor mount. It's kind of hard to see down there, but you can see I had to notch it a couple different ways to get it to sit flush. The bottom left corner I had to notch a little bit, and the top right I had to notch some. The trick here was taking a beer box, like a soda can box or a beer box, and cut it to your general shape. And then if you use a ball peen hammer or something solid, you can kind of just figure out where your holes are. And once you get one, you just throw a bolt back in there to hold it, so that you can go ahead and like tap the other holes. It'll make a good outline. And then those of you that are doing any kind of work like this, go ahead and invest in one of these really fancy hole punch kits. There's a bunch of different sizes. Works out great. And you'll see what I'm doing with this here in just a minute. So here you can also see, this one's going to be even harder to see, but you can see I got this one down here as well. Come on, there we go. Okay, so this one's kind of a funny shape. It's hard to see, but this one's a funny shape, and I had to notch it out so it would make clearance for, I think that's the oil drain tube off the turbo. And really what I did with that one was I took the motor mount that came off the motor. So here's the motor mount that came off the motor, and I basically used the top 3 bolt holes, and I just laid this down, traced it out, and then kind of fine-tuned my template to fit. And that brings me to my next thing. So here's my little template, you know, Yingling Light. Grab a beer. I went to the local steel place. It cost me like 10 bucks for them to cut these, bend these up, and then what you're gonna do with this is drill a 9/16 hole for your bushing and your DOM tube. So I'll show you how I'm gonna make the template for the DOM tube, so that we don't have to sit there and mess with different angles and figuring all this stuff out. We already know we have to notch the end of DOM tubing that's going to mount to this. This is going to mount to the frame of the car. This will sit in here. You run your bolt through, and then you're going to have to notch your DOM to fit this. There's plenty of videos out there showing you how to notch DOM tubing, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to figure out this to the motor measurement, where the motor would be up here, without having to do without having any fancy tools or anything. What I did was I took my fancy little hole punch tool and I made my own, template of DOM tubing. So what I'm going to do then is I'll put that in the middle of my bushing. Okay, slap that together, and then I'm going to set this in here. So with that being in there, I can hold this up next to the block and figure out, let's see if I can hold this for you, and figure out what angle it needs to be at, and then basically just draw a line where it needs to mount to that plate. Okay, so just a little video. I figured I'd share a little update. So again, there's your little bracket on the driver's side, nice and easy. I will have to, if you see that down there, you can see where the oil filler is, or the filter housing. Well, there's a little piece of the frame that sticks out just underneath that, and I think we're gonna have to notch that a little bit. No big deal, but it sits back in there a good ways. There's actually a lot of clearance, so it's like an inch. I'm gonna try to push it back a little more too, so that transmission cross member is actually really adjustable. So take advantage of the space that you have, so that way it'll be that much easier in the future. But that's my little update for now. Wish me luck, guys.